How are you, good people? Welcome back to Film Findings. In today's video, I am going to tell you the story of a man who started donating his sperm and earned a lot of money. But after this, many problems came in his life and how he deal with them. Dr. Baldev Chadha is a fertility specialist who runs a clinic and a sperm bank in Daryaganj, Delhi, which guarantees high quality and specialized sperm for couples. Unfortunately, he has more failed cases than successful ones. He got many advertisements done in TV newspaper also, but even from that he is not getting any donor. But he needs a healthy and high-performing donor. He has strange clients who ask him for different types of sperms, like someone needs cricketer's sperm so that their child can easily become a cricketer, or model so that their child is born with good looks, and so on. In the next scene, we see a beauty parlor owned by Dolly Arora, a widow who lives with her son Vicky Arora and mother-in-law. When Dolly goes to his room to wake up her son Vicky Arora, she finds the TV missing from his room, among other things. Vicky suddenly wakes up and looks around, but finds nothing. His mother yells at him and starts taunting him for his carelessness or unemployment. He goes inside and sees his dog, which is sleeping just like him. He picks it up and leaves the house. Then, a little girl who is going to school likes his dog, so he sells the dog to them. Dr. Chadha is watching him from his balcony, and Vicky finds him interesting. Chadha interviews various donors at the clinic but doesn't like any of them. At home, Vicky's uncle comes for lunch and asks him to work in his shop, but he refuses and leaves the house. Outside the house, his friend asks to be introduced to a girl working in his mother's parlor, but he angrily refuses and leaves. On the other hand, in the clinic, Dr. Chadha has hired a spy behind Vicky's back, who tells Chadha about Vicky's studies. He's loved to go mall, sometime working in her mother's parlor, playing cricket, clubbing, and having an affair in his neighborhood. However, the doctor still doesn't get any interesting clues until the detective tells him that Vicky's great-grandfather had 19 children. The doctor finds this thing interesting. From the next day, Chadha starts following Vicky from his house. He goes to his cricket academy and then follows him to the mall, but Vicky catches him and asks why he is following him. He tells him that he needs to have a private talk with him and takes him to his car. After some waste talk, Chadha tells him that he is an infertility specialist doctor and he needs a donor for his sperm bank, which makes Vicky laugh. The next day, Vicky's mother sends him to the bank to deposit some money, where he meets an accountant named Ashima Roy whom Vicky likes. Chadha meets Vicky at a restaurant and persuades him to become a donor, but Vicky refuses, calling sperm donation a shameful act. Dr. Chadha then asks him to test it once in the car, and it will also determine whether Vicky's sperm can produce a child or not. This thing touches Vicky's heart, and he gets angry. Chadha starts chasing him every morning and ends up meeting him outside his house. Vicky refuses to work, but Chadha still feels there is something special about him. So now he reaches directly to Vicky's house, and he meets with his mom and grandmother. Then Vicky arrives there and learns that Chadha has introduced him as her business partner at home. They then go to a secluded room where Vicky lashes out at her, but Chadha is still persistent. The next day, Vicky is somewhere when he gets a call from his mother, and she tells him that Chadha had come, but she doesn't know where his dog was found. Vicky thinks a lot, then he visits her clinic and decides that he will do it only for his pocket money. The receptionist takes his details and escorts him to a room, leaving him with tissues in a box. But Vicky doesn't know what to do, and Chadha eases his tension, so he takes him back to the room, this time providing him with magazines and DVDs. After a while, Vicky successfully pulls through. Then Chadha gives him good money and says that the rest of the payment will be received when the meeting of the sperm with the egg takes place. Vicky then goes straight to his ex-girlfriend and tells her that he is working. She asks him what work he does, and when Vicky tells her, she slaps him, just like every other time. Then the girl next door comes to his room from her terrace to have some fun with him, but Vicky turns her away and drives her off. The next day at a party, he meets Ashima and flirts with her. Next day, he goes to the bank to reopen his bank account. A child breaks a glass in a bank, and his father yells at the child in front of everyone. Vicky stands up and explains to the father that it is not the kid's fault for being brought to the bank, as banks are boring places.
Ashima's friend helps her to understand that he has spent so much time in the bank,
so she could have met him at least once. Ashima starts showing interest in Vicky. Meanwhile,
Chada receives Vicky's sperm report,
which indicates a sperm count of 100 million and a high motility rate. Chada sends some sweets to Vicky's house, but Vicky doesn't appreciate it. He goes to Chada's clinic, where Chada informs him that a client had twins with his sperm. Vicky receives a call from his mother, informing him that an LCD TV has been delivered to their home. Chada tells him that it is a small gift from the client. Vicky starts enjoying his work and earns a good amount of money. He goes shopping, renovates his house and parlor, and his life gets better. One night, he follows Ashima,
and it appears that she will be late to reach home.
To drop her, he brings a auto taxi and gives her a lift. Later, she accepts his friend request on Facebook and they start chatting. They go to lunch one day, and while ordering, she asks him about his profession. He tells her that he is involved in the import and export business of handicrafts. She asks if he is single, to which he replies, "Confirm it and then you go on a date," and she smiles. Their conversation escalates, and he picks her up, drops her off, and they begin dating.
One day, their neighbor comes to their house with a marriage proposal for Vicky with her daughter.
But Vicky declines the proposal. Vicky goes to his room, followed by the girl. In the room, she hugs him and warns him that if he does not marry her, she will reveal his relationship with the doctor to everyone. Vicky laughs and asks her what relationship she is talking about,
and she tells him that he is getting treatment from the doctor.
Annoyed by Vicky's laughter, she leaves. In the next scene, Ashima and Vicky are by a lake where Ashima reveals that she is divorced. Vicky doesn't mind and instead mentions that he had a feeling she was hiding something from him. Ashima asks if he has any secrets, to which he replies that he doesn't and everything is in front of her. However, Vicky mentions that when he meets his mother, he wants to hide the fact of her divorce as his mother is a bit conservative, and Ashima understands. They grow closer as a couple. One day Vicky tells Chada that he is getting married. Upon hearing this, Chada begins to criticize him, questioning why he is choosing to marry. Vicky asks him to consider matters of the heart beyond just sperm. Chada gets silent. Both of them talk about marriage in their respective homes, but due to Ashima being Bengali and Vicky being Punjabi, there is a slight debate about marriage in both their homes. Both are celebrating with their family members, and in the end, everyone agrees. When Vicky goes to Ashima's house, he takes Chada as his business partner and uncle. There, Vicky finds it difficult to impress Ashima's father, but somehow he manages to. Then, when Ashima's family members come to Vicky's house for a final talk, her father reveals that Ashima is divorced. Vicky's mother feels bad upon hearing that Vicky hid this information from them, but the marriage between the two is still fixed. The wedding scene shows the two getting married with different rituals. After the wedding, the whole family has dinner at home, when Vicky receives a call from Chada informing him about a VVIP client, a case involving a politician's family, and the need for a sperm delivery. Vicky gives his sperm sample to Chaman before leaving for his honeymoon. A few months later, Vicky sees us in the hospital, and Ashima is also there, crying. While Vicky is talking to the doctor, it is revealed that Ashima cannot become a mother. All the family members are saddened to hear this news and give courage to Ashima. Vicky's grandmother advises her to consider adoption. Back at home,
Ashima sees her report and asks where his report is.
But Vicky tells her that he didn't get his test done because he was a sperm donor before. Ashima doesn't like this because she had already told him about her divorce, and Vicky hid his previous work from her. When she asks, she becomes angry and upset. Just then, Vicky's house is raided, and a bag full of money ends up in their neighbor's house. The police arrest him for black money, and Chada comes back to bail him out. By the time he reaches home, his family members have learned about his sperm donor work, and Ashima has moved to Kolkata to her parents' house. Vicky is now lonely, depressed, and Ashima refuses to answer his calls. One day, Vicky receives a call from Chada, but Vicky's mother answers the call and abuses Chada,
and blaming him for their house dispute.
A few days later, at Chada's clinic, Chaman tells Chada that he has taken advantage of Vicky. Chaman gets an idea and works through the night to prepare a list of all of Vicky's clients. The next morning, he gives the list to Chada, and they both start calling and inviting all the clients to the clinic's 25th anniversary function. Vicky and Ashima are also invited. Vicky goes to Kolkata to pick up Ashima and tries to convince her. This time, Vicky is joined by Ashima's father, who asks her, "Why are you hurting? Is it because he was a donor or because he didn't tell you? Or is it because you can't be a mother, but he can be a father?" Ashima's father explains that Vicky still loves her despite knowing that he can't be a father because of her. Ashima cries, and Vicky comforts her.
The two then goes at Chada's clinic's 25th anniversary function.
Chada takes them to a terrace and questions Ashima, asking how everyone is feeling. Ashima says that everyone is happy with their complete family. Then, Chada tells her that they are happy because of Vicky's reasons. He explains that he was also sad like Ashima some time ago, but because of Vicky, he had children. Chada reveals that all these children were born with the help of Vicky, totaling 53 children. Ashima goes downstairs to meet them and observes everyone closely. She then forgives Vicky. Chada surprises them again by taking them to an orphanage, where they meet a baby girl named Dia, who is born by Vicky's sperm. Dia's parents died in a car accident 6 months ago, and her family sent her to the orphanage upon discovering that she was a donor baby. Chada suggests that they adopt the baby, and Vicky and Ashima happily decide to do so. They now lead a fulfilling life, and Vicky continues to donate sperm in the future.
Thanks for watching. To support our channel, please hit the subscribe button and help make our videos go viral by liking and sharing them. We also encourage you to provide your feedback in the comment section.